this. Maybe you can mess with that. I think we're.
Oh, yeah, you want the chat options?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah. Hey, Tom here, FlipAnything USA. Still dialing in the studio here. Let me know if you can hear me fine. And what is this? Oh, there we go. All right, cool. All right, so look, I'm going to start holding a regular meeting here Tuesdays at 7 p.m. and Thursdays at 7 p.m. And then we'll do our Saturday thing at 10 a.m. open like this. And then I'll do the private Zoom meetings afterward. Those of you that are in the mentorship, you already know about that. Okay, great. Thanks, Murdad. Glad you're here. So look, first time here. I wrote a book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. I've been buying and selling real estate since I was 19 years old. I was a millionaire by 28, and that was like 30 years ago. So we talk about a lot of things. I show you real deals that I've done, real experiences, so that you can kind of do the same thing. And we're going to get into that some more here tonight. All right, so tonight I got Chris here in the studio with me, and we're talking about various things. Oh, your screen's all black. How come I see it here?
We've given you a 40-cent rate.
Check this out. You guys still having trouble? Yeah. Guys, are you still seeing a blank screen? Shouldn't be. Yeah. Why don't you ask him? How would you approach someone about owner financing? Well, it depends. I mean, one of the key ways you bring it up is you to ask them whether or not they own the property outright. It's kind of tough to, I mean, if they already have an existing first that they're paying on that you can assume, then that's an option too. But before you go into the owner financing, the main thing is get a deal. Get something that's worth buying. You get something that's worth buying, and then get, so that you can, whether they going to offer you owner financing or not, get the deal first. Get the deal. Get it under contract. Because then at that point, then you start talking about owner financing. Unless it can come up ahead of time, but main thing is get a signature on, you get to buy it for X amount of dollars that is under market. That's the key thing. That's where you start. What I do when I approach people in some cases is I'll say, what do you plan on doing with the money? What are you going to do with the money? Are you going to put it in the bank? Because if you're going to put it in the bank, they're going to simply loan it back to me at a higher interest rate than they're paying you. Why let the bank make that margin when you can? And now some people, they just feel more comfortable with cash. Some of the things they don't want to do is if they don't feel you're going to make the payments or that you're good for it particularly, they don't want to have to go through the hassle of foreclosing on you at a later date. And that does happen sometimes. I've probably carried, 60 notes maybe a 68 to 80 probably notes where I carried the note. So in other words, I gave owner financing, and I've had owner financing on at least that many, too. So I like owner financing from the standpoints of both sides. So what's always nice is when I've been able to approach a seller, and when I bring up the idea of owner financing, is to show them that I don't just I'm on both sides of it. In other words, I carry notes and I pay on notes, and if you can just wrap them around that you're good for it, you're going to make those payments. Then that's the main thing. And then, of course, you can always tell me, you can always take it back, but people don't ever want to consider having to foreclose on you. I had a guy I sold a property to for $520,000. He put, I don't know, 100 and something thousand down, made payments for many years, about $2,500 a month. And he had cross-collateralized, he borrowed millions against millions of dollars of property that he owed millions of dollars on. And in the end, things started coming apart. And the properties that were making money weren't. And then, it all came tumbling down back to me in some form, in as much as he wasn't making his payments. And I said, look, I don't want to foreclose on you. I go, but why don't you just deed it to me? Just deed it to me. Keep your credit intact. Not that it really would have hurt him, but it would have made it easier. I said, and so he did. He just deeded the property to me he just deeded it to me. He didn't want to make payments on it anymore. So, and when he deeded it to me, he still owed me 200 and something thousand, I don't know, something like that. And a little over 200,000. The reason I know is shortly after he deeded it to me, one of the people that he tried selling it to came back to me and said, hey, I got a buyer for you. And he had a buyer for $240,000 or $220,000. Now the property dropped. The values dropped. So that's why I tell you, property values drop. Don't let anybody fool you into thinking that you can buy a property and it always goes up. It's, it does go up. The trend is up, but there's dips in between. It happens. When you buy it at full retail, it happens. If you buy it under market, you never have to worry about that, and that's what I teach in my book, is buy property, always buy it under market. That's your hedge against things going down. Even with this COVID stuff, I bought, 4 to 6 houses this year, 12 months, and I turned a couple of those right away. I still made money on them, and I sold them a little under market, and because I wanted the cash. I didn't want to get, what I call the tail wagging the dog. I didn't want to, I didn't want to have too much, I didn't know exactly. I got a lot of rentals, over 100 and some odd thousand square feet of rentals, and some of those people I anticipated having trouble. Most of them did better than I expected. But when you've been doing it for almost 40 years like I have, downturns are very, very real. And, people let go of properties, so that can happen. So let's look. You want to buy in an auction at home? What I need to look. Dude, I don't know. I'm not sure I follow you on that one. Nimrod 35. I'm still cutting out.
It was. I think for some people it's cutting out, and they just have to keep refreshing. So there's some kind of hiccup. But I just told them to keep the questions coming, and
all right.
we're gonna keep it rolling.
Well, let me see.
I'll just go ahead and give you a question, Tom. Do you need money to do real estate? And if you do, how much? And the question, if you don't have money, can you do real estate?
Yeah, you can do. Listen, it's always good to have at least a couple $100, right? $400 or $500, $500, $1,000 to put down. But you don't need to qualify for the loan for most of what you buy. If the bottom line is you get between what somebody has and what somebody wants. And that's the money in between, what somebody has and what somebody wants. And that's what I specialized in, okay? I was 19 years old. I got my first property, and somebody offered me $20,000 more than I'd paid for it. Now, I kept it. In fact, if you're just watching for the first time, I can tell you, I got the screen right in front of me, but I'll show you real quick here. Maybe. is right here. Okay, right here. First property I ever bought. This one that you see, you can see right here. It is, bring it in here a little bit closer. Okay, look at this is a 3,500 square foot metal building. This is a 2,400 square foot stucco and wood stick frame, we call it. This is my very first purchase. And the reason I was able to purchase without having any money, I mean, other than I think $1,000 I put down or $500 I put down, is that they agreed to a 6-month escrow. That gave me 6 months to save the down payment. Well, also during that 6-month escrow period, they allowed me to occupy the property. And so I took my, I'll show you here. Let's see if I can do this. So look here. On the side door, you'll see it. There's a little door right here, okay? This window wasn't there when I was younger. There's a little door right here. I basically took an office and I made an apartment out of this with a kitchen and a sink and a refrigerator. But on day one, all I had was 1/4-inch tube coming out of the wall for water, ice chest, and if you have my book, you know my story. I never let Sandy in the door. I was too embarrassed by my living standards. But this property was what opened my eyes to, one, owner financing, the fact that I was 19 years old and I could buy a property without a bank being involved, and really it ultimately kind of was nothing down for me in the beginning because I got 6 months of being able to occupy the property without having a payment. I had a long escrow. And so I scraped together $1,500 a month over that 6 months, and that was my $9,500 plus what I already put down, and I got the property. And that's when I realized I can buy anything. And
the guy who just asked the question, he's 16 years old.
Yeah, is that Carlos?
Carlos,
yeah. Okay, Carlos. Yeah, and so Carlos, look at I'll give you the quick on the story here. After I bought this building, I bought other houses too. In fact, there's another property I bought right here. And I bought this one with a partner. Take a look here. If I can do this. Okay, let me go to the ground. Okay, this is a place around the corner. And this is what it looks like today. And now the only difference between what it looks like now and what it looked like then is, it was occupied. There was a guy that, I don't know, he had gas pumps in the yard. He fixed gas pumps, the kind that you'd see in the gas station. That's what I remember about it. But I got this property. I think I bought it for $56,000. We figured it was worth $76 or $70. I had a partner. Couldn't have bought it without him. And so I said, well, let's sell it. Let's flip this thing and get our $7,000 a piece. And he said, well, I want to keep it. And I said, okay, that's fine. Give me $7,000 and you can keep it. And that's what he did. He gave me $7,000. I walked away. So I went in because I had to have a partner, but I left without him. He gave me the cash and I left. And then let's pull back out here because this is kind of the same thing again. Get back in the same neighborhood. So now take a look at this. And I can't remember the exact sequence of things. But on this property here, this used to be a hardwood place. Waterbury Hardwood, that's what it was called, Waterbury Hardwood. And they had a lumberyard in the back, and there was a big roll-up door here. It's still a sliding door, it looks like. Anyways, Otto Waterbury, that's what I remember about him. Anyways, after he was gone, me and the agent that sold me this place, we got this one tied up to buy together. We kind of became partners on it. We started partners to buy it together. And then he had different ideas about what he wanted to do with it than I did. And so I said, you know what, how about buy me out? And before we even closed the deal, he gave me $2,500, and he bought this by himself. And good for him. Same thing on this one. This one here, this one you see right here. This is probably the second industrial building I'd ever bought back then. It was second property.
Is there anything we can try different with this stream? A lot of people
Ah, damn. All right.
are asking.
We're going to try to fix the stream here. Apparently it's not working too well. Oh, doubt that's going to help.
I mean, worst case scenario, it's recorded. And then keep putting more questions in and come back and watch it.
Hang on. I'm going to look at one more thing here, guys. I apologize. Some of you are not getting, apparently not getting
It shows up for him, but then you cut out and go black after about 10, 15 seconds. Well, some people say it's okay for him.
All right. You know what? Maybe it's just not going to work for everybody. I don't know why. I mean, I'm watching the audio here, and it seems like it's doing pretty well. So,
You got 4 or 5 people that said it's all good. 6 people.
all right, guys. So I'm sorry for you that are having a problem, but a lot of people are saying it's fine. So I'm just going to have to keep rolling. I don't think I can do anything to fix it except by shutting down, and I don't want to do that either. So, but back to what I was talking about. Again, these deals, this is another one I bought. I explained this one earlier today. I got it for $10,000. I bought it from Mission Linen. Mission Linen, they wash uniforms or they supply uniforms. They're out of Santa Barbara. And just to give you an idea, you'll see where I'm at in comparison to Santa Barbara back then. This is a desert community where I was. I mean, you can see this. Look at this is Lancaster, California. They've got more crime than Compton, California now. I mean, this is like the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's like desert. You can make money anywhere, okay? Over here is Los Angeles, closer to the ocean here. Let's see. Anyways, so here's L.A., Los Angeles, Burbank, okay, all these areas around here. And then Santa Barbara, of course, is over here. Oh, well, down here somewhere. There's Oxnard. I bought a beach house over here in Oxnard. So actually, let's go to Oxnard for a second. Why not? This was a cool deal. I bought a place over here right on Ocean Drive. Okay, now this is the beach. I mean, this was awesome. And let's see, Oxnard Shores, that's where it was. Channel Islands. See, look at it. It's called Channel Islands Shores. Nobody liked the name Oxnard. Oh, it just sounds terrible. But we called it Channel Islands, and the reason for that is you can see here. I'll show you why. Is out here is the Channel Islands. Somewhere out here. You can see the islands. Yeah, they're there. There's Channel Islands right there. And so since we stared right at it, we adopted the name, or they did long before I got there. But, and then I ended up, like when I was 28, this is after I had made my first million. I went down here and I bought, or I should say I entered a contract, it was Hollywood Beach, yeah. Somewhere around here, I don't know. So check this out. You're getting a little history here. This is a beautiful beach area, okay? I was in the 4,000 block. It's been a long time. But anyways, these are the one-off. This is Ocean Drive. In fact, oh yeah, actually, I think a friend of mine, that's his condo right there. It was his parents' condo. I used to rent a room from them, and I would come down here. There's a place called the Whale's Tail back here, kind of a fun nightlife bar. But down here, if you look here, that's called you can see the beach is right here. Beach is right here. Gorgeous beach, gorgeous beach. And again, guess what? Owner financing. I made a deal on one of these houses along here. I'm not going to be able to find the exact one. It was the 4,000 address, something. Maybe I could find it. It doesn't really matter. House is a house. It looked like this, but it was a 2-story, so that's not it. But anyways, I got it for, I think I had a note on it for $390,000. So maybe I got it for $440,000 back then. I thought, I'm going to retire. I'm a millionaire. I was 28. And I thought, great, I'll go to the beach. And what I found out is that I bought at the wrong beach. And so I flipped it. Basically, I signed it. I got a long escrow on it. He didn't want to close till after December because he wanted it to be in the next year. He wanted it to, after December. He wanted to take his capital gains in January. You'll have people that will want to delay a sale for that very reason. That way, because if you sell it in December, you got to pay the taxes on it, almost immediately by April, right, when your taxes are due. But if you sell it in January, now you don't have to worry about it for more than a year till the following April. So that was his motivation and why he didn't want to close right away. I just didn't want to close right away because I didn't care. It was, it was just free time to play with it. And what I discovered is that this beach really wasn't for me. And I can tell you a funny story. Basically, I came out here on the beach one day, and right about probably there, okay. And as far as I could look this way, there was nobody. There was nobody. And so when I looked the other way, looking down the beach this way, there was an old lady with a poodle. That's it. Me, and 1,000 feet away, an old lady with a poodle. And I go, what did I do? On the beach, it came alive. There was more people, more action. But when you're 28 years old and you're single and you're wealthy and you got a beach house, everybody else is still working. None of the young people, most of your friends can't, they're working. They can't hang out with you. And so it was kind of lonely being so wealthy at such a young age, to be quite honest, and being single. Because, it's like, the girlfriend, I lived 2 hours away. So anyways, long story short, I flipped it and made some money. I did an assignment on it. But in fact, right next door here is Santa Barbara. And this is actually the folks right here. I wrote them a letter. We made a deal. In the video I made earlier today, I explained about how I negotiated that deal. My hair is green, sorry. It's just not a good night tonight. Sorry. We're working on it. But maybe it's all that money I've made. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, but back here out into the desert, again, like I said, you can make money anywhere. And you know what, and let's pull out again to that, because I want you to know this. I made money on desert land out here. See how it looks like a grid? Okay, like these are squares. Well, within these squares, there's 100 other squares, like this. Like, look at this property right here. And this is common. See that? That's probably a 5-acre square right there, a little 5-acre rectangle. This is probably a 2.5 acre. Or maybe this is 1.25 acres, and maybe that's a 2.5 acre. This area and places all over our country where there is nobody, they subdivide the property into smaller parts. A piece like this might be a section. Actually, a section is even bigger than that. But like two of these blocks might be 640 acres, right? Well, within that 640 acres, there could be hundreds of lots that are subdivided already. And there's opportunity. Just because you have no desire to buy out here in the middle of the desert doesn't mean somebody else doesn't have. People really look in the future. So people are willing to buy property out in the desert thinking this will be worth money someday. And they're talking 50 years, and that's fine. So anyways, let's get to some questions here. Yeah, Keith, I'm sorry. I guess, it's just not happening like I hoped tonight, but I don't even know. So maybe we'll kill it early. But I'm still dialing in the studio, guys, and I appreciate you dealing with whatever. I got green hair today. And the the other problems we're having. Well, let me get to the questions. We'll wrap it up. Oh, so stream is good here. Chicago, Jimmy, is that still the whole thing's been good? All right. Anyway, I'm going to get to Charles' question. If a house can sell for $300 to $325 ARV, but needs $100K of work, what would you offer the seller? Okay, so here, let me put it this way: if it needs $100,000 worth of work to make it worth $300, then really the property's only worth $200,000. So, and if it needs a lot of work, I'm going to sell it. I'm going to buy it for maybe $100 or $125, and I'm going to flip it to somebody for $175, and I'm going to let them spend the sweat equity or whatever they're going to do. Let them fix it up. That's a lot of work. 100 grand's a lot of work on a house, especially, at that price point. You can practically build a new house, okay, for that. So I would just say, look, figure out what the value is, because if it's a fixer-upper, and that's a major fixer-upper, what you're describing, you need to buy it for a price that's so cheap that you can flip it to a guy that wants to fix up houses. I've fixed up plenty of houses, and that's why I don't particularly like doing it. I don't want to do it. It's why I started building houses too. I built homes, and I could build a home and I could make 80 grand on a home. Like on a $180,000 home, I'd make 80 grand. But half of that profit was what I was making off the lot, is what I discovered. And so it just made more sense. I would rather, or just say 25,000. I made 25,000 on the lot because I was buying the lots right. I realized, you know what? It's a lot easier for me to buy and sell 3 vacant lots than to build one house, okay? It's just the easier way to make money. So I would rather flip and not fix up. I would rather buy and sell without having to build new. But you know what? To each his own. I was so good at finding real estate deals that, I didn't need to build. And so I quit building. It wasn't worth it to me. Let's get back here. What else? What other question you got? See, well, on an assignment fee, you got to figure that out. To me, if you can't afford to buy it, if you can't afford to do the fix-up on something like that, the question is, what about how much do you charge for an assignment fee? As much as you can get away with. On average, most of the assignments that I've done have been like $20,000, $10,000, $2,500 on that one long time ago. Usually there's going to be enough meat on the bone that there's 30 grand there. So if I think there's $30,000, when I'm younger and I didn't have the money that I have now, $5 grand is fine. Because to me, listen, like old Henry Booker told me a long time ago, you can't get hurt taking a profit. Remember that. You can't get hurt taking a profit. Because if you try to hold out for more, when you're weak, if you can't buy it, you got a great deal put together, but you can't buy it by yourself, you need a partner, you're weak, but you still got the deal. You've got the power to assign it to somebody and make something. And then you do that enough times, now you've got the cash that you can close the deal by yourself. And that's what I teach you in my book, right? Is how to make those kinds of deals and how to make a margin on every property you buy. And because that's what I did. I made, 5,000, 7,000. Then pretty soon it was 10,000. Then pretty soon it was 12 and 20,000. And then it was a lot of $20,000 deals. But ultimately, I had enough cash that I no longer needed a partner, right? I could buy it by myself. And then, yeah.
Could you role play that assignment fee conversation with a realtor, just kind of like?
No, I don't do it. Yeah, Chris's question is, role play that out with how I do it with a real estate agent. I've never had much trouble finding somebody in the neighborhood that's going to want the property. And you learn about that in my book. There's other people in the neighborhood that own multiple properties. That is somebody that you would go to and say, hey, listen, I got a great deal in the neighborhood that you already own a few properties in. Do you want to buy another one? And then go straight to them. And I mean, I guess you can go to an agent, like an agent. If there's, you know who the most active agent in your particular area that you're looking at, because they got the most real estate signs up, right? Call that person and say, hey, listen, I saw you sold a house in the neighborhood. Because chances are she had 3 or 4 people interested in buying, but only one of them got it. Go to her, say, hey, listen, I got a house in the neighborhood under contract, and do you know anybody that would buy this from me? And you can say, I'll give you a piece of the action. I'll give you can make a commission on it. Let her show it, put it together, and then flip it to whomever her friend is, and her friend will take care of her. It can be like that. I try to keep it very simple, but like one of the way I got turned on to assignment fees in the very beginning, and it's funny because it goes right back into this same neighborhood, was right here in my neighborhood. Right, where is it? Let me think. Yeah, it was on Yucca. Is this property right here? Okay, yeah, I know why. I know. So here's my old building. Oh, I'm getting turned around here a little bit. Yeah, here's my old building right here. Oh, sorry. All right. My building that I showed you earlier, the first property that I ever bought is right here, okay? Right here. Okay? Down this alley, there was a hardware store right here. I don't remember the name of it. It's probably Antelope Valley Hardware or something like that. Well, they had a hardware store here, right here. Well, I went and saw that it was vacant. It looks like it does now. I mean, this looks worse than it did back then. And I found out that the hardware store had gone belly up. They were going bankrupt. The owners had owed other people money as well, and they were hard to find. And I found out they were living in a trailer out on the outskirts of town. Well, I made contact with them, and I said, look, let me buy it. And then they told me they said, now we're just going to let it go. Well, then I went to the people that were going to foreclose on them. They were a big, prominent family, actually. And I talked to them, and they said, you know what? We carried a note for them. They go, we do not want to carry a note for anybody else. So I got in his position. I bought it from him for, I don't know what, $500, but he was going to be foreclosed on anyways. But I had the deal. I knew I had about 60 days time. And so I called my old boss, right? Your old boss, your employer usually has money, right? If you work for a decent-sized company, your employer is wealthy to a degree. I went to him, and I said, hey, John, I go, look, I got this place. I'm buying it for $170,000, I think. I go, it's worth $220,000. Come take a look. So he came down, and I remember, it's funny because I'm sitting here remembering what happened now. We walked through the building, and we came out here, probably standing in the alley somewhere here, walking back to my place. And he goes, hey, Tommy, that's a good deal. He goes, but I don't want a partner. And I'm like, what? And he said, he goes, how about I just give you $20,000 and I buy it by myself? And I'm like, of course, that's a fantastic idea. And that is what turned me on and made me realize I can flip property, or assign property is really the proper term. I can assign my position in the contract to someone else and make a lot of money. I made $20,000 on my very first assignment, right? And I've done many since then that were smaller. But it's all quite simple. Oh, good. Thanks, Anne-Marie, if you're still here. But again, look at this. All this is, everything's so close, right? I try to tell everybody, there's a book called Acres of Diamonds, and I think the gist of the book, and I don't think I read the whole thing, was that you don't have to go far. The deals are all around you. And so look at here. Here's the first one I bought right here. And then this is, and I can't remember the order, but here's another one right here. And then actually there's another one down here, Kettering. Yeah, there's another one I bought down here too. Let me go to another project here. Anyways, right, so we got another question. Which one? Should one apply the Burr strategy on older condo to refining? Look, this BRRR, what does it mean? Build, rebuild, I don't know. Refinance, rent. Yeah. Look, it's just common sense, okay? Use your common sense. If you can get something for less than it's worth, tie it up. Get a contract on it to buy it. Get as much time on it as you can to buy it if you don't have money, okay? Simple. Then, if you don't have the money, go find the money. Either go find somebody that will buy the property and pay you to get out of the way, or they'll loan you the money so that you can buy it, or, just flip it to whomever you can. But those are your options. I mean, you're getting, like I told you in the very beginning, you get in between what somebody has and what somebody wants, and having a contract to buy something what somebody else wants. Look, I just offered somebody $10,000 the other day, yesterday. I told the agent, I said, look, because this guy got there first, and I said, look, I'll give him 10 grand just to go away. Let me take his position. And in hindsight, I kind of wish I'd have pushed a little bit harder on the seller and just said, hey, I'll give you 20,000 more and push this guy out of the way. You got to figure it out on your own to a degree. But the bottom line is it's just math. It's math. Okay. Yeah. Whatever, man. That's right. Something is better than nothing. You can't get hurt taking a profit. That's definitely good. What do I do if they ask for proof of funds? Only asking because owner's daughter is a real estate agent. Well, just tell her you got it. You've got the money, and you do. You just don't know who from. Tell her that you've got a partner. One of the ways that you can overcome somebody's reluctance to trust you or believe you is, I test sincerity with the wallet. And if you say, look, I'm putting $1,000 down on a $10,000 property, that's 10% down. Sometimes I go in and I'll say, I put $50,000 down to buy a $300,000 home. That's way overkill. But that's my way of letting everybody know at the table, I've got money. I'm going to buy this. I'm the sure thing. And so the way you can kind of counter that is you can say, look, I'm going to give you $500 non-refundable. In other words, you're saying, here's $500 deposit, non-refundable. Say, if I don't close this deal in 45 days or 60 days, that money's gone. It's yours. That's another way of showing that you are definitely a serious buyer, because you're going to walk away from $500 if you don't close the deal. And people like that. You've got some sweat in the game, right? You've got something to lose. And that's about as good as you can do if you don't have any money. Because if you come up against somebody like me, I'm just going to show I got cash and I'm going to blow you out. You're not going to have a chance. But if you beat me to the deal, or if it's a little bit iffy, if you've already put the $500 down and it's non-refundable, now you're in a position to come tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, how bad you want that thing? And then maybe I'll pay you to get out of the way. But so back to your thing. When they're asking for proof of funds, you're going to have to get creative. I'm not going to tell you how to lie, okay? But the bottom line is you're going to get the money from someone else. You're going to get a partner. And that's as simple as that. If you can't show that you have money, you're going to have to show that you're bound and determined and that you're willing to risk some real money to make the deal happen. And that's about all you can do. All right, what else? Okay, Nacho. What type of approach would you take in regards to flipping homes in more expensive areas like Los Angeles? Would you yeah, it doesn't matter. Listen, $1 million might seem like a lot of money to you. It's not a lot of money to a whole different class of people in a different income level, okay? $3 million is not a lot of money for a home in a lot of places, okay? In fact, where I just sold my last 2 homes, they told me that the most activity was homes that were $500,000 to $3.2 million. That's primarily, everything is in that range. So what you think is a lot of money to you is peanuts to somebody else. So if you can get in LA, and I know, look, my brother-in-law just sold a house. I mean, the lot was about as big as this room that I'm in. It was like, the house was less than 1,000 square feet, I think, and it was sitting on a lot that was probably 4,000 square feet. So small that when you parked in the front, you had to like center yourself between the two driveways because that's how narrow the lots are. If you were too far forward, you'd either be in front of your own driveway or you'd be in front of your neighbor's driveway. That's how it is. That was in Venice, California. He paid $250,000 for that property about, 17 years ago. He just sold it for $1.6 million, and he sat there and lived in it that long. Now, not everybody gets that kind of home run appreciation. Google has moved into that area. Everything's kind of on fire in that particular area. But to answer your question is, it doesn't matter. You can go look at homes that are $500,000 or $700,000 or whatever that number is that you think is high for you. That's okay. As long as you know what everything's worth, then you can reason that if you can get one of those for $400,000 or $500,000, that there's a $200,000 margin there. And if you got to put $10,000 down to tie it up, and then talk to the agents in the neighborhood and find somebody that they just sold a home to or that they talked to that didn't get the home, that wanted one, and shoot, there'd be enough money for you to get a $50,000 referral fee, something like that. That's the main thing. Okay, yeah. So let's see. We got someone new. Mahaber, yeah, I think that's it. Who would you reckon which are legit? Real estate investor, because Meet Kevin seemed dodgy. Oh, okay. Yeah, look.
This guy's the real deal.
Yeah. Look, Kevin is a very wealthy YouTube broadcaster. That's where he makes his money. He's a fantastic YouTuber. I don't think much of his investing. I just don't. He's got the privilege of making $1 million. He made $250,000 in 1 month. That's an awesome YouTuber. He's got incredible talent. Okay, and he's got a lot of hustle, and he works very hard. He works really. I say hard. Look, he works hard because he makes a hell of a lot of money by working hard. And I like him for those reasons. Now, his investment advice, I don't think much of, okay? I don't think it's relative to most people that are starting with nothing or even people that have $500,000 a year coming in. I don't even like it for people that make $2 million a year. But he makes enough money from his YouTube, from the people that, whatever, from all the YouTube revenue, that he can afford to pay $1 million for an $800,000 home. He could make bad investments all year. And it's not going to crush him, okay? It's not going to crush him. And I'm not saying that he's made that bad of deals, but that's a terrible class of property to buy in to get rich and to increase your he's increasing his portfolio by buying property. I want you to increase your portfolio by making money on property, right? I want you to flip property and buy bigger, and better off of real estate proceeds. Telling you how to buy property with the money that you make from your job is, that's what 99% of everybody does. That's, they don't know what I know. All my people that, all the people that make money in real estate know. Anyways, next question. Oh, asset trader, thanks. Yeah, you know what? I'm just trying to get my skills here with this. Obviously, I got green hair today, so I got some learning to do. I think I need to have a blue screen behind me instead of a green screen, but whatever. I'll figure it out. Yeah, if you don't have resources, get resourceful. That's not a bad line, to be honest. You got to do what you got to do. What % commission do you offer to listing agent and buyer's agent? If I put a property on the market, I generally put 4.5% out there. Okay, 3 to the buying agent, whoever brings me the buyer, that person is going to get 3%. Who I list the property with, I might give him, I gave Murray, my buddy, 2% on this last deal. Anyways, but had we had the conversation before I had him listed, he would have known that I intended 1.5%. And I told him, but it didn't matter. I made a killing on the property. So I was very pleased. What else? Anybody got another question? I apologize that some of you have not been having good reception. So I think, Anne-Marie. Nah, Anne-Marie, no, that what the app, the app does not give you that kind of information. That you'll have to look up. You can get that on PropStream, or you can get it the other ways we discussed in the meetings that we've had. You know, you can get it from the tax assessor's office, but that's it. Mine is more for help evaluating the deal and keeping a log of what you have, or either that you have in mind and or what you want to present to somebody else to flip to. Yeah. See, we got a slow here on us too. I don't know what you mean, but let's. What's your? Oh, I see. Well, my favorite way is to pay cash for property because it's the easiest. But you know, guys, we're having some trouble. I can see some of this is dragging. Anne-Marie, it looks like you got it. That's good. And hope to see you 10 a.m. Saturday, and I'll be back on here Thursday too, and we'll get this stuff figured out. How much dollars on taxes do you save a year? Shit. Yeah, let me just tell you, Texas is way worse than California when it comes to property taxes. Now, and I own a lot of property, so of course I'm jaded, but I miss the property tax rates of California, like 1.1, 1.2%. You know, they're more than that in Texas. But I know California's catching up with special assessment. Plus, they kill you on your income tax. That I know. There's people are leaving California because the taxes are so high. All right, asset trader, yeah. You're already in the mentorship class. But you didn't make it to the live recordings. Well, you know, like I say, so much of the value in the mentorship class is actually in the Q&A afterwards. Just like right here, you know, you hear about and learn about things that you probably never heard of. We got Carlos. Texas is getting good, but taxes are bad. Yeah. Now there's, you know, you can make money anywhere. You know, but I can tell you, there's some places where water is so expensive that you have to factor it in your rentals, almost like it's electricity you're paying for. It's so high. You know, when I was younger, I mean, the water bill was $10 a month. I have sometimes a $600 a month water bill. Sometimes I have a good sized property, but you know, it's ridiculous. Anyways, I apologize for the rough video for those of you that had it, but I'm going to call it a night and get the book. If you're just tuning in, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's the best $10, $20. You know, believe me, if you feel like you've been ripped off for $10 or $20, yeah, that's a gift, okay? Because people get robbed for, you know, tens of thousands at these free seminars. Anne-Marie, who just wrote, she got robbed basically from one of these mentors that charge much more. Anyways, but thanks for watching. And you know what? I'll probably do something tomorrow. If you put on the notifications, you'll get notified when I do turn on. And I'm always happy to answer your questions on these live things. And be sure to go check out my website, FlipAnythingUSA.com, and watch the videos. You know, listen. You can listen to my old YouTube videos like they're an audiobook. If you're on a budget and you don't have much money, I've been making these things for free for years. So enjoy and have a good night. Thanks.